Good morning, students. So, today we are going to start the next chapter, that is the flower. You have already learned that reproduction is the most important function of any living organism for the survival of the species. So, in flowering plants, this function is performed by the flower. So, what is flower? Flower is a specialized shoot in which the leaves are modified into floral structure. So now let's see the parts of a flower and then we will read about it in detail. So first of all, there is a stalk, also called pedicel. In the picture you can see the pedicel. So what is the function of pedicel? It mainly supports the flower. But some flowers are also there which do not have this pedicel and are sessile, means which cannot move or immobile. After that, the tip of the flower stalk may be expanded to form a cup shaped structure, that is receptacles, as you can see in the picture. Receptacle thalamus. So the floral parts are borne on this thalamus. Now there are four whorls of a flower. The first whorl is the green sepals, also called calyx. As you can see in the picture, the green leaf-like structure. Second whorl is large, brightly colored petals, also called corolla. That is the pink part you can see. Third whorl is the male part. That is the long thread-like process somewhat projecting out and each usually ending in a bilobed tip. Just see carefully the yellow one. This is called stamens or androecium. So the stamen consists of thread-like filament and the bilobed anther at the tip you can see. Now the fourth whorl is female part. That is the blue one, centrally located pistil. That may be formed of a single female unit called carpel or of several fused carpels, collectively called gynoecium. Each carpel or pistil consists of an uppermost stigma, a middle one, style, a basal part, ovary, and inside the ovary is ovule. Now let's learn what is complete and incomplete flowers. A complete flower means perfect flower, which contain all the four floral structures. If any of this calyx, corolla, androecium or gynoecium is absent, then it will be a incomplete flower. Now let's read about the essential and non-essential parts of a flower. Essential means the reproductive parts of a flower, which consists of both the male part and the female part, that is, stamen and carpels. Whereas the non-essential or the accessory parts are simply the helping parts which protect the reproductive parts of the flower and make the flower attractive for pollination. So, which parts are these? These are sepals and petals. So, in short, if I say the reproductive part is the essential part of a flower, that is stamen and carpels, and the non essential parts are sepals and petals. In some cases, the petals and sepals are undifferentiated together, called perianth. When the perianth is non-green, it is called petaloid. And if it is green, means if the perianth is green, like the sepals, then it is called sepaloid perianth. Next is bracts. When a flower arises in the axil of a leaf-like structure, then it is known as bract. These bracts can be green like an ordinary leaves or it can be a colorful also. The colorful bract you can see in bougainvillea. Bougainvillea has large colored bracts. That is actually not petal. Rather than that, it bear a small flower which is attached on the inner side of the bract of bougainvillea. Most flower produce a sweet fragrant liquid called nectar. As you know, honeybees use this nectar to make honey. group of nectar secreting cells called nectaries. It is situated at the base of the pistil or on the base of the petals. Next is sexuality in flowers. The anther of the stamens produce pollens, which form the male cell or the male gamete, whereas the ovary of the carpel bears the ovule, which encloses the egg cell, that is female gamete. If the flower contain both stamen and carpel, then it is called bisexual flower or hermaphrodite, and it is a perfect flower. But if the flower contain either the stamen or the carpel, then it is called unisexual flower or incomplete imperfect flower. If the unisexual flower has only stamen, then it is called staminate flower. Or if the flower contain only carpels, then it is called pistillate flower. If the flower which is lacking both male and female reproductive organs, then it is called neuter flower. Now let's read the parts of a flower in detail. Number 1 is calyx. So usually there are 5 sepals. Sometimes they may be less, or in a few cases even more. These sepals are exist in 2 forms, that is the free form polysepalous or the fused form gamosepalous. As you can see how the sepals are fused together, and in the right side you can see they are free from each other. Sometimes there may be a second series of sepals called episepals or epicalyx. The function of sepals is to protect the young flower bud, and when they are green, they perform photosynthesis also. The petals are generally arranged in a single whorl, but sometimes there may be a double whorl, example poppy, or can be spiral, example water lily. So they are found in 2 forms, that is polypetalous and gamopetalous. As you can see, the polypetalous have free petals and the gamopetalous have fused petals. Their function is to attract insect for pollination and protect stamens and pistils. Next part is androecium. As we have seen earlier also, androecium is the male part of the flower and contain a long filament and an anther. The anther is usually 2-lobed. And here in the picture you can see each lobe has 2 pollen sacs. And within the pollen sacs are contained pollen grains. These pollen grains are generally powdery particles of different shapes and sizes. Stamens joined in different ways, in single, double, or in several groups. If only one anther is free, then it is called monodelphous. In monodelphous, stamens are united in one group by their filaments. Example is China rose. If the filaments are united in 2 bundles, then it is called diadelphous, where out of 10, 9 stamens form the staminal tube, while 1 is free. And the last one you can see, that is polydelphous, where the filaments are united in several groups. Example is bombax. Here are some functions of androecium. Next is gynoecium, that is carpels. It is also known as pistil. It consists of stigma, style and ovary. Stigma is covered with hair because it serves as the landing place for pollen during pollination. So that the pollen grain easily stick to the stigma, it contains hair-like structure. Next, the tubular structure called style connects stigma to the ovary. And at last, the swollen basal portion is the ovary. Inside the ovary has single or several chambers which contain ovules. As you can see, the swollen region in the ovary attaching the ovule to the wall of the ovary is called placenta. Placentation is the manner in which the ovules are arranged or attached to the walls of the ovary. Here, this picture is showing how the ovules are arranged in different manners inside the ovary. These ovules are actually turned into seeds in the mature fruit. You can see these different arrangements in pea, tomato, mango, etc. Next is inflorescence. So, inflorescence is the mode of arrangement of flowers on the axis of the plants. Flowers may be arranged in several different ways. So, here the picture is showing the different arrangement of flowers on the plant. Flowers may be found on the apex of the lateral branches, in the axils of the leaves, in the same level making a cluster, or can be laterally flattered making a disc, as in sunflower. The youngest flower are in the center and the oldest in the periphery. So I hope you have understood. Thank you.